to the Paladin webinar series. The goals of these are kind of to, help you promote and train and make your retail business the best that you can. I'm being assisted today by Chad. And Chad, if you could go ahead and start the recording if you haven't already, that would be great. Most of you know me by now. My name is Jenny Cooper. I work in the marketing department. I was a tech for 2 years, so I kind of know what I'm talking about when it comes to this stuff. Now, today's webinar, I want to talk about the importance of year-end prep. You know, that dreaded tax time comes around, whether you have a physical or a fiscal year, and your CPA, your tax people, they need everything in detail. I want to talk about how Paladin is going to be able to help you with that, and the reports that you're going to need, and then how to help you in the future so you don't get caught without this information for tax purposes. The technical level on this is easy. It can be used for both pharmacy or hardware, as taxes are taxes. It doesn't really matter what kind of store you have. So let's go ahead and jump on in. Work there. All right. So what we're going to go ahead and cover today, okay, I'm going to talk about the reports that you need for your year-end taxes, both, again, physical and fiscal year. Okay? How to create tax reports and why they're important, and then also how to set up preset reports. That way it can make it easier for next year. And there are a couple important things you need to know about those reports that will go hand in hand with the presets, and you'll understand why here very shortly. I will also demo these things inside Paladin for you so you can get an idea of where they are and how things run. Okay? So there are 2 required reports that you need inside Paladin to make your year-end prep the most successful with both taxes and inventory. The third one is not required. However, it is highly recommended, but it is optional. Okay? You're going to need to create the inventory valuation summary, and then also the accounting summary report. Now, those are the 2 required ones. The other one, the period comparative revenue, is simply for your information if you're wanting to look at how you did this time last year versus this time this year. Again, not required. Your CPA or whoever does your taxes may ask for that. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now, sometimes some bookkeepers and CPAs and things like that, they're asking for a little more detail, or if you have your certain state tax laws, have to have very, very specifics as far as transactions and things like that, and really explaining where those tax monies went into what category and why. If that's the case, you can run a transaction report for any detail that you need, and that transaction report is literally going to give you everything that you need right down to the penny. Okay, tax reports, they're created in the reports module in Paladin. To make it easy to create those reports for next year, you can set up preset reports. Okay, now I want to go ahead and show you kind of how to do all of these things inside Paladin. So let's go ahead and tab over to Paladin here. First, I want to show you guys how to run the 2 important reports that you need, or the most important reports that you need inside Paladin. Okay, we're going to go up to the reports module. Here it's already open under the report area. We're going to go to inventory, down to general, and then inventory valuation summary. We hit next, and then we hit run report. Now notice, if you're looking for something very specific at the end of the year, okay, you can narrow that down here. Part number, department, supplier, class, things like that. And then your accounting one is going to be under accounts receivable, accounting report, and accounting summary report. Same thing, you hit next, and then you hit run report. Now, a couple of things with both of these reports. Number one, the accounting summary report, it automatically prints every month with your statement. So you should have this every time you run your statement. Now, the other 2 things about these reports that's really, really important that if anything you take away from this webinar, you guys need to remember this part. Okay. The accounting summary report and the inventory evaluation report, they are snapshots in time. So, meaning when you run these reports, that data is only valid for that day and that time that you ran those reports. So, for example, if all of a sudden January 1st comes around or January 2nd and you forgot to run those two reports for your end of year, if your year ends on December 31st, you cannot go back and run them. Okay? What you have to do in that case, you have to call us. You have to call Paladin Tech. We have to grab your database, and we can restore it on our end. Now, these are, I believe, the only two reports inside Paladin that do it this way, but it's done that way for a reason. So it's really super important that you guys remember to run those on your year end, whether it's December 31st or the end of your fiscal year, whether that's July or June or August, however you guys end up doing it, you need to run them for those days. Okay, now with that said, this is where preset reports come in. That way, if you do forget, it's okay, and you still have the data, the accurate data for your end of year. So there's two different steps for setting up preset reports. I'm going to go through both of them with you. That way you guys understand how to do them. So let's say you need to set up the accounting summary. We're going to go into accounts receivable, accounting report, accounting summary report. You want to select the report that you need to set up as a preset. And then down here, you're going to hit F11 or create preset. Okay. Now here, preset name, accounting summary report. If you need to change the button name, as you can see down here on my screen, I've got different buttons: daily rep, revenue, firearms, so on and so forth. End of year AR. Okay, we'll do something like that. And then you want to schedule this report, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly. Now, what does this monthly button mean? The monthly button means the last day of the month. So keep that in mind. Okay, let's see. There we go. And then we're going to hit next. And then here, if you want to change it to anything specific as far as that goes, you can. Okay. And you hit Save Preset. Now, as you can see, F5, it's your new button, End of Year AR. Now, that is the first step. Second step, we need to go to File, Setup, Company tab, and then about midway down the page or so, it'll have Report Options. Okay, more like 3/4 of the way down. So, Report Options. Okay, Scheduled Report Start Time. Whatever time you want to send it, if you want it to run, let's say your store closes at 1500. Now, to give them time to close out their tills and all that kind of stuff, you want to be safe and you want to run it at 1600. So you go ahead and put it in at 1600. Here is where the path is going to be. So mine I have, or on this computer rather, in the computer itself in the C drive, I have a reports folder. This, you can make it a path to wherever you want. Even if you want a desktop, a folder on your desktop, that's totally okay too. Now, you do not have to go to this folder to find these reports. I will show you. Okay. Once this is done, you want to make sure that this is created. In this case, mine already is. You hit Save. It's going to do its thing. Okay. Now, let's say you forget and you come in January 2nd, you're panicking, you need those reports, and you don't really want to call Paladin Tech Support and bug us with something like this, or you don't have time to. Okay. Luckily, you have your preset report set up. Down here, F10, Recall Report. This is just a shortcut to that path that's in the File Setup Company tab. So right here, it's going to show all the details. It's going to show the reports that you already have set up. It's also going to show the date and time that it was ran. Okay? All you have to do is click recall, and then what it's going to do is going to bring it up in a PDF format just as if you had. So your reports are available. Okay, now we're going to go back to my slideshow here. So again, this slide is kind of reiterating what we talked about. It absolutely must be created at year end, whether it is your physical or your fiscal year. Okay. If you forget to set up preset reports, it's not the end of the world. What we'll end up doing is, if you forget to set these up, call us. We will get you set up. One of our customer service reps will walk you through how to set these up. That way this doesn't happen in the future. And then all we have to do is pull over your information, and then we can run those for you. That way you're not going to be out those reports. And then again, if your CPA, if they even have any questions, they can call us and they can talk to us and say, hey, I'm looking for this kind of information. How do I get it inside Paladin? Our techs here are trained to know that kind of information. So you're more than welcome to call us. But again, this is where that preset report is going to really come in handy to be able to work for you. Okay? Now, if you forget and you don't have time to say listen to the webinar, or you don't want to listen to the whole thing again, or you're a paper person like me, I like to print stuff out and have instructions right in front of me. There's a couple of different knowledge base articles that are available. One of them is how to handle report presets, which there is a link from this webinar. You click on that and it's going to enable you to log into your client portal, and you're going to be able to get to this knowledge base article. Now there's one more that is finishing being posted today, and it's essentially over everything that we've talked about. It's going to go over in detail the year-end prep, the 2 reports that need to be done, the comparative revenue report if you need it or want it, okay, and the importance, again, of making sure that you run them on those days. So at this point, that's all I have for you guys. I want to open up the floor for a second for you guys if you guys have any questions, because this stuff can actually get decently complicated. Chad, are there any questions or anything?
No questions.
Okay, perfect. So that's your Paladin year-end prep. If you guys have any questions, feel free to call in. Also, re-listen to this webinar. It's going to be really, really helpful, especially come next week. If your year-end does end on December 31st, it's going to be a really good resource for you. Next week, let's see, next week before the holiday, it's either Chad or Charles. We're going to be talking to you about features in Paladin that have kind of come out over this past year that you may or may not know about. You guys always have the most up-to-date software, and we want to make sure that you're using Paladin to the best of your ability and really utilizing all of those new fancy features that we have, and kind of what to expect over the next year as well. Yes.
Can I interrupt you here?
Yeah.
I have Andrew Morris has a question that says, can you run the reports on any schedule? And I want to figure out exactly what he means. So Andrew, I'm actually going to unmute you so you can go ahead and just ask the question directly to Jenny to make sure that we understand what you're asking here. All right, you should be unmuted. Go ahead and try to speak it, Andrew.
Hey Andrew, what's up? Are you there?
Well, maybe his computer audio is not working. Do you understand the question, Jenny, and that can you run the reports on any schedule, like different reports at different times? I'm wondering if that's his question.
I think I know what you're talking about, Andrew.
If
you're talking
about, define it a little bit more. Can you use any terminal to schedule the reports? And yes, you can, right?
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely. It doesn't matter what terminal it's on. Now, keep in mind though you will need to change that path in the File Setup Company tab. If I understand this correctly, you'll need to change that tab in the Company tab, that path, for per computer, essentially. Because those paths are computer-based, not, or they're terminal-based, not Paladin-based, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that is correct. You can also go in there and share the folder with the other computer. And since the data is all shared in Paladin, you should be able, if you access it from that recall reports button, that F10 in the reports module, every terminal should be able to do it. And if there's any problem, just have them reach out to customer support. We'd be happy to share that folder and make sure it's set up correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew, did that answer your question? You can also chat it too if you didn't.
Yeah, he said that answered his question. We have another one coming in here also. And Dean was wondering if you can repeat what the three year-end reports are. He only got the inventory valuation and the accounting one. What is the third report?
The third one is not required, but it's recommended. It's the period comparative revenue. That's going to show you your totals for the end of the year if you run it on a time frame from January 1st to December 31st or from your fiscal year. That way you can see your year-end total.
Excellent. Does anyone else have any questions? Let's give it another 10 seconds to see if let people's fingers work just in case. All right, I don't got anything coming in here, Jenny, so I think we're all good.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. At the end of this, as always, there will be a survey. If you guys could let me know how I'm doing and what I can improve on, and also, again, give us topics, for the year to come. We're in the process of making all those, and we want to make this program as successful as possible, so we really want to get your guys' ideas and inputs out there. And for those of you who do celebrate, you guys have an amazing holiday, and we will talk to you guys next week.